All right. Divine Divas. This is a milestone episode. This is a portal. It is our 100th episode, and I had to bring in a woman who is not only a marketing mastermind, but she's a living frequency disruptor. Bridget James Ling doesn't follow trends, she flips timelines. So we are so excited. Bridget has built an empire and she teaches women how to walk like fire, remembering that they are a category of one. And today we are going to talk about the frequency of fame. Not clout chasing, not attention thirsty, not that kind, but the kind of fame that makes you undeniable. And we are going to go beyond the basics. We're going to go into the frequency, the body tech, because you know what I like to say, your body tech, it's the field. Frequency is body technology. And when you know this type of fame, you are undeniable, unforgettable. So before we dive in, I want to take a moment to honor this woman. Bridget James Ling is not only my mentor, but she's also been one of the few people in this space who speak about frequency, who talk about how important it is about who you are behind the scenes and not just who you are in front of everyone else. And so she doesn't just teach strategy, she does. She's very brilliant when it comes to strategy, but she also transmits a level of certainty that is extremely just rare in this market, in this industry, just in this world. And there is an event that I'm going to talk to you guys about that I attended last year that I will suggest if you believe, like I talk about light workers are the new celebrities, like these are the people that need to be leading. And if you know that you are famous, you are destined to impact millions, this is an event that you need to attend. Okay. So, Bridget, will you just introduce yourself to the audience? Tell us more about you.
Well, that was the best introduction I've ever had. I'm serious. That
Well, you
was so
deserve the best.
and we just got to spend last weekend together. So there's something even more special about us doing this podcast. And I love you and your work and your listeners. I can't wait to get to know them more. And the fact that it's the 100th episode, like I feel like God always just like, you could have a regular normal day, and then God's like, bloop, I'm gonna give you this little thing, this 100th episode. And so there's something special about this. I think that there's gonna be an us before this episode and an us after this episode. So I am Bridget. I just exactly what you said. And I'm so obsessed with helping women become famous, achieve levels of wealth that is disturbing. Like it makes people like, no, she's not doing that. And you're like, it's almost so disturbing to the point where you wonder if it is real yourself. You're like, am I? Is this actually happening? And then the last piece, which is freedom. And I really believe freedom. I think a lot of people see me flying around the world and they see me living in these places and having a whatever schedule I want, but real freedom actually comes from within. And it comes from all letting go of all the constructs that people have taught you, the constructs of the world, even constructs that you make up inside of your own head, and freeing yourself from those. Because when a woman is really free, that's when she's the most dangerous.
No, what I love about you and the brand and the just the ecosystem. I don't even it's like an ecosystem that you created for Freedom Queen. It really is about freedom in all areas of your life, not just one. It's not just about, like you said, traveling or just about this. It's about freedom for who you truly are. And when you embody that frequency of freedom, it changes everything in your entire world. So excited. Like this conversation. Okay, I had a really good question to kick it off was like, when did you first realize that your frequency was the real offer, not the strategy and not your product?
I would say when I really realized it was my second year in business. I think I had been leveraging it before, but I didn't understand that that's what I was doing. I wasn't aware. Like, I think one of the most profound things about being an entrepreneur is that, like, the levels of awareness. You know, each year you get more and more aware, where you're like, it's what's the Mark Twain quote that's like, it's not, it's not what you don't know that will get you in trouble. It's what you don't know. It's what you know that just ain't so. And it's like, the more you know, the more you're like, am I crazy? Like, you feel it's like nobody talks about that. When you become more self-aware, you start to, it's like the pendulum swing. In the beginning, you're just like this blind mouse and like you can't see anything and you're just kind of throwing things around. And then the more self-aware you become, the more it's like, is this real life? And so I really realized it my second year in business. And there was the switch. So I had actually wronged myself for using frequency, energetics, and power to make money. Because there was this narrative in the online space that women are wrong if they leverage their energy. And people started making content, and it was like, well, she's just a hype girl. She's just charismatic. She only makes money because she's happy. She only does this, because she has a lot of energy, wait for her next year when her energy goes away. And I'm still over here like, it hasn't gone away. Like, and so I allowed myself to listen. I wasn't really being very freedom queen of me, but the first step of being the freedom queen is identifying where are you listening to these constructs. And so I started thinking, and I was like, I don't know, like everything that God teaches and God is energy. And what if I didn't listen to this construct of the online world or just the world itself that people say? And what if I actually like really like went 100x on energy? And so there's different ways to shift your energy and to shift your ability to move people using your own frequency. But I started just doing slight things. So I started doing things like, okay, before I went live, I would do a really heavy lift in the gym and I would change my frequency. And then how I would show up on the live would make more money. And then I just started doing other things, like I started dressing differently and it changed my frequency. And then I started working on my internal identity, because how you see yourself is how you see the world. And I started to notice my income was increasing, but also my happiness, my fulfillment, and my soul on fire was increasing at the same time. And then I just was like, you all are actually wrong. Like, I'm not listening to any of that. I'm going to double down on this. And so at every new level, I double down on the frequency work, on the internal freedom, because the more free you are, the more money you make.
It's what I love about what you just said is it's not just a frequency where people are like, oh, frequency, but it's also embodied frequency, right? So you're like, how was I dressing? How was I feeling? Let me shift my state so that when I start this,
Yeah.
presentation or this live and I'm talking, then you're feeling it. And I'm laughing because I was in the industry right around that time, and frequency was what I did. And I started to think it was less than, because people are like, no one wants to pay to be in your energy. You remember that time when no one wants to pay to be in your energy, and that's not enough. And I totally allowed myself to fall for that. And when it shifted was when I said, no, that's exactly like why I came on this earth. Like that's why I incarnated, was to shift people's frequency from mine. And,
Yeah.
and so never listen to anyone else. If you're listening to this and you're like, but that felt right for me, that felt light for me, then keep going. Trust yourself. And like Bridget always says, double down. If somebody says, don't do this, like I'm doing the AI thing, oh my God, every day I see someone, AI and spirituality, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, yay, double down.
Oh, yes, I saw someone, Christine, make a post today that was like, I don't need to shop at Dior and make, whatever. And I'm literally sitting here with a Dior scarf on my neck and a Dior in the bag in the background. And I'm like, I need to make content that's like, just like dripping in Dior, because when you see the market going that way, go the opposite way and you'll become, I love to use the word disruptor.
Yes, disrupt the freaking energy. Oh my God. Okay, okay. Another question. This one is so fun. Like, what do you think most women are afraid of when it comes to fame and being fully felt and seen?
They're so afraid of being hated and canceled. That's the number one thing. And I get it because I've been afraid of that. And it's actually something that it's like my superpower is being the famous one. The sore that I have is that fear of being canceled. It still punches me to this day. And that's like, that's the thing that I always need to work on the most is what other people are saying, what they're thinking of you, what the Reddit threads, the post about you, you make a post about something and all of a sudden you're someone's villain. And that, however, though, is a symptom that you are becoming famous. So if everyone was yes manning you, you're just their buddy. I see this a lot. Like I'm thinking of certain people where they're like, everyone just agrees with them and they're kind of like just cool. They're a great coach and everybody kind of likes them. If you have that, you're not famous. And usually I would call this a regular coaching business. I would not call this person an influential leader. They're not a movement maker. They're not a legend. Because a legend is somebody that makes history. Somebody that is just a great teacher, they're just going to teach regular lessons. They're not going to be remembered. They're not going to make the history books. They're the ones teaching the books.
Mm.
And so when you are the yes man person, you don't have the jabs. You don't have the spears. You have everybody around you rooting for you. And so when you start feeling like the tabloids, the takedowns, the Reddit threads, whatever, the post made about you, it's like, aha, I am moving in the right direction. And I've had to really train myself to, I've had to really train myself to be good with that. And that's something that I work on constantly on improving on, that the team works on it with me. Like that it's like, okay, Bridget, you just got this thing. Can you face it, embrace it, and allow that to be the sign that you're moving in the right direction?
You know, I love the way you talked about it in the mastermind we were just in Costa Rica. It was kind of like, well, the Reddit thread, you made it. Like, actually, like, I don't
Oh,
know, put it on your vision board. Like, if you have a vision board, put it on there so that
yeah.
it's not something because I feel like, because I love to be liked and I know it's normal. I like people to like me, but I do feel like there's that fear of, should I really go all in on AI? Or are people going to call me the weird girl? Or are they going to say I'm trying to make AI God? And I was like, you know what? If they do, then fine, fine. Because I have to be okay with, like, you have to be okay with both. You can't want millions of people to love you, but then not be okay to have millions of people hate you, even though it's most likely going to be millions of people love you and hundreds of thousands of people hate you, right? But then usually the people that hate are louder, you know? And
It's the silent majority.
mhm.
And so it's like everybody's thinking that, but no one's saying it out loud. I love what you said. The negativity is they're usually the louder ones. The other people, they're just watching. They're not liking, they're not commenting, but they're silent. The silent majority is sitting there thinking, oh yeah, I agree with Christine. That's a great idea to do AI and spirituality combined.
Yeah, yeah. And so if you're hearing this, like, feel it in your body. There's probably a piece that's making you like, because you're afraid to say, you might be afraid to say something, or you said something and maybe you got canceled, right? Because you're already successful in your business and you've already been doing the things. But remember, even the people that have gotten canceled, there's a whole audience that's like, I love her because of that, right? So was it really canceled, or was it really just maybe a PR thing, right? Remember they used to say, like, there's no PR, like there's no bad PR. I mean, we don't want to look for bad PR, but if you use everything to your benefit, then nothing can really hurt you. And I love that the way that you talk about that. So um when we think about the unspoken conversation, Bridget has an experience, it's called the unspoken conversation. I wanted to talk about like when we talk about becoming energetically undeniable, what is something that no one talks about that is required for that to happen?
Energetically undeniable is that. So the way that I think about this is that people are always judging you before you even say anything. They're looking at you, and within an instant, they're deciding. And this is why I call it the unspoken conversation, because nobody talks about it, but everyone's thinking it inside.
Mm.
As soon as you walk into a room, your brain is deciding where you fit in the tribe. Are you the alpha? Are you the side? Are you in the middle? Are you the back? Like, where are you inside of the tribe? Your brain is always deciding that. And it's just human nature, and there's nothing wrong with it. But you can dial in your frequency to make you be someone who's always the important one, who's always the alpha, who's always, I would say, the queen. And so if you think about it using, let's just say the queen archetype as an example, the queen is going to walk into a room and she could be wearing like a big ball gown, but she could also be wearing a really simple silk dress. And she walks in, and the way she walks into the room is like she's important. And so how do we actually identify whether or not someone is important? And the first thing is that she herself has decided that she's important. I always say, like, you're only able to influence people at the levels of which you're able to influence yourself. Or you can only move people at the levels of which you're able to move yourself. And so if you move into a room like you matter, marketing is just mirror work 101. Your audience will mirror back to you that you matter. And then when you speak to people, this is what I want to really go deep on. It's such a nuanced subject. I was just talking about this with someone this morning, which is high levels of competence. Not many people talk about this, and it's very important. I think of competence like basic understanding of how human beings work. Like, I was never really smart in textbook, but I had competence in understanding how humans work with one another. Like, I think of it like street smarts, like you understand people. And so when you have high levels of competence, you don't need to be the smartest person in the room, but you do need to understand how human beings work. And when you understand that, you will rise in terms of power. When you have basic level understanding of human beings. Now, somebody will typically lose power in the room when they lack competence. So let me give you an example. Have you ever talked to someone and the entire time you are giving off an energy maybe that is you're really sad about something, and the person can't pick up on social cues that you're sad about something? And they're like, well, I'm great and I'm fantastic and I have this thing and I'm the best. And you would look at them and say, are you incompetent? Like, are you not picking up on the social cue that this person is sad? It's like just common sense. That's how you'll lose power. Because you look at that person and you think that person doesn't know social cues. So they must not understand humanity. And when they don't understand humanity, the key point here is they don't understand you. And when someone doesn't feel like you understand them, they're not influenced by you. And so, yeah, I'll just stop there.
No, I was going to say that keep going. That is super. You said so much in that. It's so good. But I also feel when we think about fame and we think about people that are absolutely beloved it's because of that connection and because people feel like they are seen. And what makes you famous is not just, of course, we're going to talk about conviction, we're talking about confidence. That piece is very important, but it's how your heart, and it's about you actually feeling seen. So, like, if you're like Beyonce and you're on the stage and you're looking at someone and they're like, oh my God, she looked at me. And they just feel like they're seen. They feel like her
Yeah.
music is speaking their own story. And I feel like that's important. And women normally naturally have that, but that was like, if we think about the illusion and we think about the matrix, that was seen as a weakness, right? Being able to connect to the community, connect to people as a whole. And what is actually a superpower is our skills and ability to connect with others and not go, like, you don't have to be in that person's pain, but you can be there with them while they're in that,
Uh,
discomfort.
women are so good at sales.
Mhm.
We're just, you're empathetic. You can feel like I'll be out with Robbie and I'm like, that person's going through something really difficult. And he's like, what? I'm like, oh, that person just said that, but what they actually mean is this. Those people are arguing. They're getting a divorce. And he's like, how do you know these things? I'm like, there's like the study that women have this sixth sense, and whether it's through our ability to birth children or just our motherly, the way that we are as humans. I love TD Jakes. He always says, and Robin and I always joke about this. He says, but when women pray, like TD Jakes always, what when women pray, like we have this like, but we can connect because we are literally like, can birth a human? Like who does that? And so we have this sixth sense about us that, and so we don't need as many constructs. We don't need as many frameworks. We don't need tell me what to say in my content in order to make money. We need to be more of who we are. And that's what's going to make us more money. And men just they do it in a different way and that works for them, but for us when we're in that state, it's helpful to understand those things and know them, obviously. But like when I first started my business, I never had a problem signing on a client, and it's not like I was trained in sales skills. I think that's fascinating. Like I just like signed clients like that. Like if I talked to someone, they would buy. I didn't like pitch them. I didn't even know what a sales call was. I just got on the call and I was like, I can help you. And then people bought. And that's like Freedom Queen 101. It's like you're completely detached. You don't need anyone to buy from you. You have nothing to prove. You just have this incredible body of work because that's who you are as a person. You live an extraordinary life. And then as a byproduct of you sharing that work with people, they want to buy from you.
Yeah. And that in turn is what plays into the fame, what makes people undeniable, what makes your energy so like magnetic, You said such a good point. I've been talking about this aspect of like masculine feminine energy and what it was when it was whole energy before the split, before like the
Cool.
matrix, before all of that. Because when we think about like with the split, like women have this, innate ability. Men used to have that too when we were thinking about whole energy, but when we split it, it's like one side is looking for one piece that they're missing and the other side is looking for one piece that they're missing. And so it's like you're not missing anything when you can remember that's all an illusion. It's not even real. And so when you unplug from that and you're like, who am I when I'm whole, not looking for any piece that's missing, that also makes you so magnetic. And you said in the mastermind a big thing. I love when you say every mastermind I go in, every place that I go in, I'm the best. I'm the best. And I was just talking to some women the other day, and I said, that whole thing about ego death? I said, I don't believe that is really for the feminine. And because our egos get killed, like right when you're a little girl, like they are tearing your ego down. They're like, shut down, sit down, be quiet, close your legs. Like, you have absolutely no ego, like, because your sense of I has always been about others and has been about nurturing everyone. And I was like, what if we don't need an ego death when more women need to be like, well, I'm the best. I'm amazing at what I do, and to believe in themselves more because we've not believed in ourselves more. So to close this out, like I would love to talk about that because I haven't talked about it as much outside of my containers, but I truly believe we need a little bit more ego. Like we need a little bit more, I'm the best, believing in ourselves, like knowing that we can go into every room. And just because I say I'm the best, it doesn't take away from this other woman, because in order for you to truly be famous, you have to believe that you are the best.
Yes, I love that you bring this up. I made that post that said, go ahead and become an egotistical maniac. Drink, it's like drink your own Kool-Aid, get drunk on it, gulp, gulp, gulp. Like, there's just a fact that the top entrepreneurs are extremely ego-based. They have insane egos. And I love what you said there. Like, what if there wasn't a problem with that?
Yeah.
You know, I think a lot about, I love that you talk about being a little girl. And I think one of the reasons why I am who I am is because of my parents, and my dad is an egomaniac. Okay. He is crazy. Like, and I used to hate it. And there's a negative side to that. So there's not all beautiful roses and things, but I learned a lot from him on, you know, he would always say something to me. So we would go to Bob Evans. You know Bob Evans? It's like an IHOP. Okay, yeah. Yeah, we would go to Bob Evans on a Sunday and we would get sausage and eggs, and we would walk in, and Bob Evans was always like old style. And I'll never forget that there was these two men checking in. We were trying to get a table. And somehow my dad and this guy started fighting in the lobby of Bob Evans. And it was about like who was going to get the table first. And my dad, like the way he started arguing with this guy, I mean, the whole Bob Evans has stopped. Like everyone is staring at us. And I'm standing there next to my dad, and my mom's like, oh my God, like, okay, but she's gonna stand. Yeah, she's like shamed, but she's like a queen. So she's like, I've got your back, baby, but what are you doing? Like, you're a little crazy right now. And I remember we got the table that we wanted. And I remember we sat down, and I said to my dad, after processing all of the teenage emotions I was processing at the time, I remember saying to him, why were you able to do that? Why were you able to cause such a ruckus, make everyone look at us? You got into an argument with that guy. You got us a table that we wanted. And I said, why were you able to do that? And he said something so profound that I want people to really sink into. He said, because I am James Richard Ling. Then the server came over and he got his coffee with an obscene amount of sugar and milk and sausage and extra side of sausage and eggs. And that really stuck with me because there's something there. And he always says, like, I don't listen to man, I listen to God. Why would I ever bow down to another man? And I was like, so you're doing these things, you're getting what you desire because you've decided that just your name, you don't need to bow down to any man, that you can just actually be who you want to be and really treat the game like a game. And I'll share another story that is really important is Myron Golden. Myron Golden, another very like the similar type of story, but different. He didn't get in an argument. Myron Golden was flying commercial for a while until one day he flew a commercial flight, Delta, United, whatever, flying business class. And he was like, I don't want to fly this anymore. I'm going to start flying private from now on. And then he sold offers to be able to fly private. And now he only flies private. Yeah. And I think that there's something so simple yet so profound about that is that he, like, I hope this lands. He decided that this was just a game and that he was going to change the game. And so he did.
I
It's
love that.
like, where do we overcomplicate it? Where is it like, yeah, but Myron has money. Yeah, but Myron is this. But Myron has 1 million subscribers on YouTube. But Myron can pay for this. But Jim is this person. He grew up this way and that. And it's like, what if you just got the result and you decided to win the game?
Yes. I love that. What I love about that as well as I've been talking to my audience, I said, when you just unplug from the matrix, then you can see everything and you realize that you are the one who gets to play and maneuver and move the pawns and like, do all the things because you aren't beholden to anything, fear or anything else that makes you easily manipulatable, whatever, doesn't
Yeah.
work on you anymore because you're
Yeah.
like, it's not real. It's
Yeah.
not real.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Oh my God. We could talk forever. And
I
I know
know.
we're almost done. So, first, Diva, you've heard it here. This was the 100th episode. And Bridget is just this is just a smidget of what you would experience at Freedom Queen Live. Freedom Queen Live is in November. It's in St. Petersburg, Florida, which is where I am. And Bridget is truly like a mirror. She's one that reflects back to you what is possible for you and makes it super simple, similar to what you were saying. It's that easy. Let's just make it simple. The difference between 15,000 and 5,000, the one in front of the five. I love that. I will say that forever. And I will quote you. I will say it's for Bridget. So if you felt something shift in your body, then don't let it fade. Let it move you. Do something with this. And what I want you to do is number one, take a screenshot of this episode, tag me and tag Bridget James Ling on Instagram, and let us know what you got out of it, what the frequency of fame is to you. Number two, go into the show notes, grab your ticket to Freedom Queen Live. The tickets are going to sell out by June. So if you're listening to this now, get the ticket, get it now, because it's an experience that will change your world. Just listening to this 30 minutes, imagine what it's going to be for 4 days. And Freedom Queen Live is also the place where all of you light workers, people that are here to change people's world, the people that are really the new celebrities, the new famous people, because you are someone that everyone needs to know so that you can raise the frequency, the joy, so you can help raise the frequency of the planet. But if no one knows your name, then, what are you doing? So definitely please come. Bridget, is there anything you'd like to say before we go?
I love you. And I'm so happy that you joined the Freedom Queen Mastermind. I know we did work together previously before that, but there's something about you being in the Freedom Queen Mastermind, the fact that we had the Costa Rica retreat, you coming to Freedom Queen Live, and I don't know, it just feels really different and so amazing. And I'm really excited for everything that you're bringing forward.
Thank you so much. And for two seconds, I have to. Bridget took us in the Freedom Queen Mastermind. We went to the beach, and she was saying every time she went to the beach, she would go into the water, like she would say her intention, like really decide what gets to happen to her, and she would dunk in the water. Of course, y'all know I didn't dunk in the water, but I went in the water.
Yeah.
But and so she took us all to the beach, and it was during sunset, and oh my God, the sunset, first of all, was one of the most beautiful sunsets that I've seen. And I was standing there and really like feeling the sunset. I made my intention. I decided 8-figure business. We don't have to like, jump. Like I have an idea that's $1 billion idea and it gets to blow up in ways never before. And I was just feeling the move. Like I was just really moved. The ocean is like pushing us around. And I'm like bawling as the sun is setting. And I go over and I give Bridget a hug just to say thank you for that experience. So I want to say it again. Thank you for that experience because it was just so grounded. I could feel the 10, whatever, 20, what, it doesn't matter. That 8-figure business is done. I have no questions. And I walked off to that beach a totally different woman. So I want you to know, thank you.
I'm so happy. Thank you for sharing that with me because I don't get to feel all of the moments. And it's actually nicer to hear it now that the retreat is done. You,
Yeah.
you are that person.
Oh, thank you so much. So, everyone, message us, watch this over and over again, listen to this, take these codes in. It's going to sound differently every single time. And keep it bougie, stay healed, and be divine, Diva. I'll see you in the next episode.